Well, it's now time to check in on weather with Nebraska Extension AG Climatologist and Market Journal Chief Meteorologist Eric Hunt. Eric, obviously we're back here in the studio today. Looking forward to the big show next week. How's weather going to be for Husker Harvest Days?
Well, thanks, Bryce. I'm happy to report that we have almost ideal weather for Husker Harvest Days this year. Looks like mid-70s and ample sunshine. But first, let's take a look at the U.S. Drought Monitor, which was released on Thursday morning. We had a little bit of degradation report, so we did see some introduction of abnormal dryness in Boyd County and some degradation to extreme drought in parts of Thurston County. Again, about half the state's in drought, half it's not. Roughly 10-11% of the state's in extreme drought or worse. Again, we're starting to see some degradation in parts of the state just because we really have not seen a lot of moisture for about the last 3 weeks for most of the state. Last 7 days, we did see some pretty good precipitation amounts in parts of western Nebraska, so Scottsbluff up towards Shattern did pick up maybe half-inch to an inch of precipitation. Some parts of southeastern Nebraska got fairly lucky with some thunder showers on Tuesday morning. Again, most places have been dry, and this has been a theme for about the last 3 or 4 weeks. So if we take a look at the common period from August 14th through September 6th, so out of 131 years, for northeastern Nebraska, this was the driest such period on record, and as the top 10 driest in north central, central, and southwestern Nebraska. And again, across portions of southern Nebraska, south central, southeastern, and east central Nebraska. Again, the reason we're not in the top 10 driest is because of that mesoscale convective complex that moved through back on August 25th and 26th. And again, that recent dryness is really having a major impact on soil moisture. So across a lot of the state and a lot of the north central part of the country in general, really starting to see some very low percentiles for soil moisture. And as more evidence of that, let's take a look at soil moisture from a couple of sites from the Nebraska Mesonet. So this is from Oakland and Burke County, very eastern part of the state. So again, almost no precipitation here for almost a month. And seeing some decline in soil moisture in the top part of the profile. And this blue line at 100 centimeters basically just shows it's been flat, and it's been flat like that for the entire summer. We've never really had the recharge down to that depth. And at Ord, kind of a similar story. Again, we had a couple of rains where we've had some recharge, but it's never gotten that deep, and we are now at a pretty low level across all depths. But there is some good news. We do have a cold front moving in the state this weekend, and that should bring some precipitation to almost everybody and some cooler temperatures. Now, I think the better chance of getting 1 inch or 2 inches of rain is going to be across parts of western Nebraska. I do think we're going to have a bit less precipitation in the eastern half of the state, but I do think everybody should get at least 1/4 to 1/2 inch. We will be seasonally cool through Thursday, but we are not looking at any frost anywhere in the state. And we will probably be dry in the eastern half of Nebraska after Sunday night. We will have chances of precipitation returning to western Nebraska later in the week. And I think we will start to see a return to seasonally warm conditions next weekend. But again, seasonally warm in mid-September is more like highs in the low to mid-80s. We're not looking at mid-upper 90s coming back, I don't think. Moving a little bit deeper into September, it looks like we should stay relatively warm across the northern U.S. That includes most of Nebraska. Again, but I think this is mostly just suggestive of highs more in the 80s, maybe some warmer overnights. We're not looking at a significant heat wave coming back in. In terms of precipitation, it looks like we should have some good return flow that would maybe mean for better chances of precipitation across western Nebraska and a little bit less so in the eastern half of the state. Thanks. Back to you, Bryce.